Owl003. Please like, subscribe, and share the content. Today I'm going to talk to you about the model I am using in order to remote view future news. What I'm trying to do different than what you might be seeing out there is currently a lot of groups, I say a lot, probably not a lot, but a few, they do a news forecast where they kind of do a shot across the month of a news event, and then they see what happens. And I've done that too. That seems to work. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to raise the bar of scientific rigor and provability of those efforts. Now, there's a thing called data fitting in this field, which is, oh, well, there's an explosion, so this must be this and relates to this event or whatever. I mean, the world is a big place. There's wars going on everywhere. So unless you tell me exactly where it's at or the exact day, it's not all that helpful. And it's easier to kind of say, well, you could just be data fitting that data. I'm not saying that's the case, but what I'm trying to do is something different and try and kind of hone it in a little bit better. Okay, so let me show you what I've been playing around with. Okay, so I'm gonna call this precognitive pinpoint news targeting. So this is the model I've been using. Um, and basically, the subconscious picks the target date. What I mean by that is it doesn't have to be in any particular order. I may just be driving somewhere and the date September 18th comes up. All right, write it down. That's the date that I'm going to remote view. Just go through the slides. Okay. So my hypothesis is, for reasons that I believe relate to algorithms and a predetermined aspect of the system in which we exist, or possibly something else we are yet unaware of, I believe it may be that some events or even data points may not be accessible to a remote viewer. It has often come to my attention that oftentimes remote viewers are seemingly already tapping into targets by what's in the declaration of their personal inclemencies as well as their advanced visuals. Um, with, with this realization, I had to ask myself the question, and I pose this question to you if you're a remote viewer. When is the target contact or connection actually happening? Now, if you're a remote viewer, I know the first thing you're going to say, oh, it's when I hit the ideogram, it's stage one. Okay. Is it when I write it's supposed to be name on the page before I sit down, when I start my stage one? What do we know? We know that our subconscious wants to succeed. We know that a scattershot approach to monthly news events is hard to prove legitimately without having to accept data fitting as being part of the equation to success. We know approaches such as associative remote viewing, as well as the approach mentioned above, have averages of success are substantially lower than a straightforward past event or standard remote viewing targets. We know doing more associative remote viewing does not seem to improve the process and success. It's spotty and inconsistent at best. Working model and process of application. There's a lot of things I have to edit out. I did it on my phone. Okay. Subconscious comes up with a date for precognitive news events, and then the remote viewer uses their protocol to remote view it. This model is based on the theory that your subconscious mind is well aware of your trajectory. So I think it's very likely your subconscious mind has some sense of much more than we consciously know of. Okay, it's very likely the subconscious has seen the whole picture, the whole story, your whole life, and is just feeding you information. Okay, current signs of success and promising. Now, this is just one of the things I've been doing. I did a precog Facebook News, which was very accurate. That was very close within a time frame. This I put out at least a couple weeks before, and I've got other stuff on the timeline that's coming up. We're going to see how that plays out. Um, but so far, it seems to be working better than I assumed. Excuse me. These events seem to be as solid as anything else that I remote view, at least from a feeling perspective. Okay, just some of their sketches, comparative stuff that I did, the stuff that played out with this court case with Trump and stuff and all that, which I had no conscious knowledge of that it was even going on. I'm kind of in a bubble when it comes to the news. Um, so data points are substantial as well as pinpoint to the day, which raises the bar in scientific rigor as it applies to precognition. Some more comparative sketches here. Further theory and application. Once target contact is established, um, I would then send another viewer to the location that was remote viewed, tethered through the tasking in previous remote viewer sessions. Okay. All right. Now, one here. I knew it. Okay. So, what are the most common concerns I will be hearing in the field about this and critiques? Telepathic overlay. Things to consider. Telepathic overlay. Meaning, if I go in there and remote view this target, and for some reason that's the date that my subconscious bubbles up in my mind, but I have once perceived it, and I use another remote viewing to use me via another portal to push this target out and get more detail, if you want to call that telepathic overlay, but it does end up happening anyway, who cares? Who cares if that's what you think it is or whatever? We don't know what's going on. We have to figure it out. The original viewer is the portal of which the follow-up viewer is perceiving through. Again, who cares? Perhaps the follow-up remote viewer can only perceive that precognitive event via the first remote viewer. Who cares? Is it giving us the result we're looking for, which is remote viewing the future? That's all we care about. The consistency. Is this working? Is it working well? Is it working better than what we currently have? We're looking for consistency, reliability, verifiability, and an increase of overall pinpoint precognitive target forecasting, as well as a more stringent forecasting methodology to prove the viability in precognitive remote viewing. What do we have to lose? Nothing. By employing these methods, at the very least, we may be able to determine the scope of telepathic overlay as it pertains to precognition as well as remote viewing in its entirety. So that's it. I just wanted to explain to you guys, this is what I'm currently doing. I have stuff out on the timeline, events, stuff that I've already put out. Um, and we're just gonna see how that unfolds. Now, if this consistently is working as well as it's showing, to me, this is feels like a much more um, the averages seem, if they stay, much higher of probability, and um, I think the scientific rigor and verifiability of what I'm doing is a lot higher, doing it this way. So, I just want to give you guys an update on how things are going. Things are going really good with it, and we're just going to see how this plays out. Um, it is my it's from what I believe that it might be possible that there's, for whatever reason, this may have less to do with what's happening, but what's perceivable for reasons unknown. Whether it be affecting an algorithm, a timeline, whatever. But we're going to see. So far, this seems to be working well. But I'll keep you guys up to date, and we'll catch you next time.